Welcome to our Taking Up Space segment. This is the prelude to Summer in Space, a little preview of the summer night sky with a space enthusiast. Here with me is Dr. Carl Frankel. Now, he worked for 44 years, right, at Penn State Hazleton as professor, right, but in biology.
Right.
You were my biology professor, and I was more on the art side. But you got me really excited about science, and then I have to thank you for that. I want to thank you on air for that, because I never really... I was into it, but with your class, I was going home doing Punnett squares. Is that what they were called?
That's
like
what they were called.
I was showing off to people at parties. I was like, check this out.
Those must have been strange parties.
And that's why we have you here today. You have this knack to get people excited about whatever you're into, whether it's science or art. Also works with the Hazleton Art League. You seem like such a creative person too. You still go up and look at the night sky. I take it. I mean, and you see these objects over and over and over again, some of them, but they still have the capacity to make you wonder, to make you just sit there, drop your jaw a bit and go, wow.
A lot of people like gazing up at the night sky. They will tell you variations of the same thing. You get a feeling. You look up and it's not only just aesthetically beautiful, but just the vastness, and your mind thinks about how far away these things are and how huge they are. And you just fill up with wonder at the structure of the universe and the smallness of people. It's very poetic. And I can't look up at the night sky without having those feelings. It automatically brings it on. And it's just, you know, when you're busy and when you're fed up with things going on in the world, it's nice to be reminded that we are a tiny little speck in the universe. Carl Sagan talked about the whole planet being the small blue dot in the middle of nowhere. So it's just good to be reminded about that, to put things in perspective. If you're a religious person, this is God's universe then, and I think it has a theological meaning in the same way, you know.
I think it's interesting.
We're both important and we're nothing at the same time. It's very interesting.
Neil deGrasse Tyson, who I always appreciate, this is what gets me going about astronomy.
Too.
Exactly. He, I so often in my life, you want to control things and you want to get things done, and you just, sometimes frustrating if you don't. So I go out with my telescope and I take some pictures, and if I don't find it, I get frustrated. But what I always think of in those moments when even the universe is stressing me out is he says, the universe is under no obligation to make sense to you. Yeah. Or you know, you have no rights here. It just is what it is, and it relaxes me. And it could be a scary thought, but it also relaxes me a little bit to be like, just appreciate it, you know. Let's talk about that summer night sky. You said you give presentations at star parties and that. While you were the biology teacher, you still go out there and you'll tell people, hey, look up, we have the summer coming up. It's a great time to get out. It's warm. You can spend some time out there at the night sky. Where would you start your talks with? I mean, what would you encourage people to do as if it's their first time, just walking outside?
If you just look at the moon through binoculars or a small telescope, and you really can see the topography, you can see the shadows of the mountains and the crater rims. My friends and I who do these little star parties love just listening to people as they look in and they go, oh wow. And there's that wow thing that I've looked at the moon 100 times in my life, but I've never seen it like this. And they'll say things like, wow, it looks like you're coming in for a landing. So that's very gratifying. Depending on the crowd, some people just, kids especially, notice the colors of stars. You know, we talk about red giants and orange stars, but of course they're not red like a traffic light, as you know. And so a lot of people look up at the night sky are not really conscious of the fact that the stars are different colors until you ask them to notice it. And then they'll say, oh yeah, that one looks kind of rusty, and that one looks bluish. And then they start to notice. Then you ask questions like, any idea why different stars would be different colors, and get into a little bit of physics. And
so from my understanding, the blue stars are the hottest stars, the red stars are actually the colder stars out there. And it's neat, you can just do this, and if you take one night this summer, again, this is what the segment's all about, to just encourage you and to take the moment and notice and say, oh yeah, that one does look bluish, or that one looks a little red to me. Milky Way season in the summer is beautiful. I'm gonna show you two photos right now. The one that, well, I'll label them. I'm gonna say the one on the right is the one that I took down in Cunningham of part of our Milky Way galaxy right here, that I actually got out. Now this is long exposure and it's over the city of Hazleton, so I did see it a little bit. And the other one on the left is from Cherry Springs Dark Sky Park, and you can just see the difference between the dark sky versus where we are in the city. And you actually have a little model, because when you're looking at that part of the galaxy, sometimes it's hard to comprehend.
In the summer, with the way the Earth is relative to the sun in the night sky, If you look toward the south, you're looking toward, first of all, we're like this. So you're looking toward the middle of the galaxy.
Okay, so toward the
And you
center.
see all that stuff. There's so many stars that they just all blend together into this big piece of milky looking stuff, this Milky Way. And you're looking out and you see it on the southern horizon, and it rises up overhead. You're standing here now, that's you.
Okay.
And it sort of peters out somewhere over your head because now you're sort of off into a spiral arm. And if you look in this direction, or if you look in this direction, you're really looking through the width of the galaxy, which is much thinner than its diameter. And so there are not too many stars between you and outside of the galaxy, between you and extragalactic space if you look there and there.
Can I tell you that I've been doing this for 3 years now with my telescope, and that was the best example I've seen. Even the sticker on the front of there kind of helps even with your demonstration. Now, we called this Prelude to Summer in Space because in June, July, and August we're going to have more space segments, more interesting people to talk to. Well, Dr. Carl Frankel, thank you so much for joining us. You'll see him at the Hazelton Art League. You'll see him around. So appreciate your time today.